Hi, everybody. It's Judy, and today we are in the More Than Enough Women Circle, and I'm welcoming you into our circle. And our Facebook Live today is all about, do you have a jerk at work? And we're going to dive right in to that topic. But before we do, I just want to give you a chance to just let me know that you're here and to let me know that you can hear me. So also remember that if you know somebody else that has a jerk at work, let them know about this really great topic. So like and share it. Share it with those that you think would benefit most. Maybe it's somebody that actually had a conversation with you today that said, "Oh my God, I'm dealing with this person, this jerk at work, this really difficult person." So make sure that you share it with them. So I see some people are popping in. If you can just send me a quick hello, a little emoji, something to let me know that you can hear me and that my sound is working. That would be really helpful. Okay, I saw some hearts and whatnot, so thank you for that. All right, so let's dive right in, okay? Because here's the thing, I truly do believe that as women, we can change the world as long as we're given the chance to shift from the inside out. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is that, we have a lot of challenges. We have a lot of pressure. We have people that, it brings conflict, right? There's these difficult people on the outside. And on the inside, we also have a lot of resistance. And the resistance is what keeps us stuck. So what we're going to talk about today is, yeah, there's that jerk at work and there's that person that is challenging us, but it's how we're dealing with it on the inside. It's an inside out kind of job. So what I want to actually cover now is talking about, so what is that inside out solution and how do we deal with it? So first you need to understand that resistance actually is kind of like if your computer is open and you have programs that are running in the background that you're not even aware of, right? So some of the resistance that we have is completely unconscious. We're not even aware of it. So resistance can be that jerk at work where we create a lot of story, or I should say, we create a lot of data. And as amazing, businesswomen and leaders, we really have this ability, and these are superpowers, right? Because we're leaders, we have amazing skills. We're great detectives. So when there's a person that's like that jerk at work, we're a detective. We're constantly looking out for that behavior. But not only are we detectives, but we are data collectors. So every time that person does that behavior, we collect that data and it's like we put it into a filing cabinet. When we put it into that filing cabinet, it's not just the thoughts that we thought, it's the feelings that we felt when that person triggered us, right? So think about it. How many people know those people that trigger you and you collect every single time that they do it to you? Like, oh, there they go again. Yep, there they go again. And we collect that data, and it's not always conscious. It could actually be put and stored in our unconscious mind, right? That's that program that's running unconsciously that we're not even aware of. So if we have this computer that's running and it is collecting data and it's making a case, that person that annoys us, that triggers us, becomes the difficult person at work because we're hyper vigilant. We're always looking for it. So it becomes one of those skills that we have as leaders that we overuse, right? So when we're repetitively, we're always looking out for it. So let me give you an example. I'll tell you a quick story. I actually was talking to my client today. We're going to call her Vanessa. And Vanessa has a business partner. His name is Mark. And Vanessa and Mark have been working together for 20 years. Okay, 20 years they've been in business together. And it's a financial consulting business that they own. And what's really interesting is when I was talking to Vanessa, I'm like, why are we always talking about Mark? Like, why is he such, the bane of your existence? And it was interesting because what we realized, because I asked her, I'm like, what was it like when you guys first started working together? And she said, I was so excited. I had a million ideas. And whenever he would challenge me, I would just, come back and explain to him like why I thought it was a great idea. And she was energized by the challenging. But over 20 years of that partnership in business, she just got worn down, right? She lost her spark. It's like every time, it then became like such a rut, such a pattern that every time Vanessa came up with a new idea, Mark would squash it, or he would poo-poo it, or he would challenge her. And she also got into a habit of spotting it every time he did it. And she became that person who would always, go into, well, let me explain to you why I'm doing this. And it became this dance that they were in, totally unconscious. So as we unpack this story a little bit today, Vanessa shared with me that there was a recent incident that happened where they were planning an event for clients. And she's been doing these client events for years. She knows how to do them. She kicks ass. The clients love them. And she knows what works. And Mark wanted to change things and say, oh, no, we're not going to do a full, breakfast and dinner. Let's just do hors d'oeuvres and let's call it a day. And she's just like, no, you can do your clients your way and I'll do mine. So here's the good news. The really good news is that Vanessa had already started the process of untangling the dance. And what she did is that she realized that she didn't have to be locked in to the way that Mark wanted to do things, that she could actually untangle herself. So when we were going through this story today, I told her about the 3 hooks, right? So hopefully you can see this, the 3 hooks. So she had this story, and the story was, that filing cabinet that she had of all the thoughts and emotions that she had stored over time. She's like, oh, yep, I got it. Yep, I got it. Yep, there it is again. And what she realized is that she had a big, huge filing cabinet with Mark with all the times that he would challenge and push her back. And she also realized the second piece of it was that she was trying to change it. She really wanted to change it. And the way she was trying to change it is that she was turning it on herself. And she was saying to herself, and I want to actually quote the way she said it. She said, after a while, I just kept on saying to myself, what the heck are you trying so hard for? You're just getting run down and your spark is gone. And, why do you keep trying? Just stop it already. So here she was in that phase of wanting to change it, but she was totally into judging herself, right? She was totally into self-judgment. So that self-judgment was putting her in a place where she just couldn't win. She was hurting herself, right? She was turning it in on herself, realizing that it wasn't about him, but that she really had to make sure that she was making a more conscious choice. Now, when we got to the last part of it, the last hook is that she was still taking it personally, right? She was still taking it personally. So she needed to forgive herself. And what she needed to forgive herself about was that she was basically, when you boiled it all down, she was really judging herself as feeling not enough. It was that message of, why don't you just knock it off? Why don't you just stop it? Why don't you just stop trying so hard? And when she got to that point, she realized, she's like, oh, wow, yeah, I'm causing the trigger, and I'm causing the trigger in myself. So that's when I was able to share with her, and I'm going to share with you the steps that I went through. Now, again, Vanessa has done an amazing job. She's actually already figured out most of the steps in this process. But here's what happened. When I was actually teaching and facilitating a leadership training program, I had a participant that was just like Mark. This guy, Jay, was constantly challenging me, pushing back on me. Like, it was just really strange, like how much he was challenging me. And when we were in an exercise, I gave him some feedback, and he was so abrupt and like uncharacteristically, like it was kind of over the top how he pushed back on me. And I really took it personally, right? So here was this guy, Jay. I had seen him throughout, a 5-day program, and I was noticing all the data. So I had a filing cabinet started for Jay. I had noticed all his behaviors. I had thoughts. I had reactions about it. So I had emotions tied up, and I wanted to make it different, right? I wanted to, make it so that this exchange and how Jay and I were interacting with each other during this workshop was not happening. And I gave him that feedback, but when he pushed back on me in such an abrupt and abrasive way, I took it personally. Oh my gosh, by the end of that workshop that day, I was so drained. But what I did is I acknowledged the story that I had. So that's step number one. I acknowledged the story that I had. I was able to acknowledge and notice how I was judging myself. I was judging myself as wrong. Like, oh my gosh, I can't relate to this person. What's wrong with me? I'm not enough, right? So I was taking it personally, and I needed to forgive myself. So what I did, and this is what I told Vanessa to do, and this is what her homework is for this week, I actually went outside and went for a walk, and I repeated to myself radical forgiveness, right? So radical forgiveness sounds like this. I forgive myself for judging myself as believing that I'm not enough. And I would repeat that until I went around the block as many times, and I literally felt a physical shift. And it works. I'm telling you, if you do these 3 steps, if you allow yourself to see the filing cabinet that you have, if you also notice how you're judging yourself and you're making things, you're judging yourself as not doing something right, and you notice how you're taking it personally, you can take that next step of forgiving yourself. And then after you forgive yourself, you tell yourself, and the truth is, right? And the truth is, you are more than enough, right? So while the judgment, if you boil most of our judgments down, we're really usually telling ourselves that we're not enough in one way, shape, or form. And if you forgive yourself for judging yourself as not enough, and then you tell yourself, but the truth is, I am more than enough, you will actually notice the shift. And it is a mantra that you can do. And again, you don't have to go out for a walk around the block twice. I have found that it's more effective that way when you actually get it in your body and you're doing physical activity. It clears a lot better. So I want to open it up. I want to acknowledge everybody that's here. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Abigail. Debbie, hey, hello. And Megan, great to see you guys. So I love seeing you guys here. And if you have any questions about the process that I went through, it's right here, right? It's going through the 3 hooks, the story, the wanting, the taking it personally, and then being able to forgive yourself that you're telling yourself that you're not enough, and then telling yourself the truth. And doing that over and over and over again until you feel the shift. And the thing is, and this is what you probably didn't expect, it's not about the jerk at work, right? Because what happened in my situation with that leadership training program that I did with that guy, Jay, what was so miraculous is that after I shifted on the inside, the very next day was the last day of the program, and I was actually wanting to avoid this guy. I didn't even want to talk to him, but he actually came up to me and apologized to me and said, the feedback that you gave me was the exact feedback that my wife has been giving me lately, and it really triggered the heck out of me. He goes, and I reacted to you really, unprofessionally, and I'm sorry. He actually apologized. But I have to tell you, I don't think that would have happened if I didn't do the internal energetic shift inside myself. Because he and I were doing this dance, and when I shifted, the dance was over. So there had to be a new connection. So again, I've experienced it. My client Vanessa is in the homework right now, and she's going to experience it. And it's also a practice, right? Sometimes you have to do it over and over again. And there are people that are going to trigger you. And I want to tell you one more secret. One more secret is that generally that jerk at work that's bothering you, it's not really about that person. It's about somebody who triggered you as a child, right? Your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, whoever it was, your caretaker, right? That behavior, that program that was programmed was when you were a kid. And you are just responding to that trigger with the jerk at work. So the thing is that every jerk at work is doing you a favor by pointing out to you some of the programs that are unconsciously running in your body, in your brain, right? Unconsciously. You're not conscious of these, but you're unconscious when you're triggered because it's the trigger that actually reminds you, oh, I have to clear this out. And some of those triggers, if you've had them since you were a little kid, it's going to take a little bit of time to clear them out. So that continuous, I forgive myself for judging myself as not being enough. And the truth is, I am more than enough. Repeating that over and over and over again, obviously, it's going to help clear that out because at the root cause of that trigger is because you believe that you're not enough. It's not about the jerk at work. It's about the fact that the jerk at work is reminding you that you actually feel like a jerk sometimes, that you actually think that you're not enough. And that is so not true, right? My program, the people that work with me, right? Like Vanessa, my client, the people that work with me, the name of that program is the More Than Enough Method. That's what I work on with my clients, and it brings me such joy. So, last chance, if there's any questions, any comments, please leave them. And if you're watching this later, after the program is over, please just type in your questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. But if you are here right now, like and share. Share this with that person that you know that has that jerk at work that needs to hear this. Because you know what? You don't want them to have that program that's running unconsciously, behind the scenes. You want to help them clear it out. And you also want to send that person, as well as yourself, that message that you are more than enough. I look forward to seeing you next time for our Thursday Facebook Live, and have an amazing day. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.